When you see this row of personnel, what comes to mind? Dressed in specialized fire apparatus required for the ARFF function, the design of which is predicated on many factors, but primarily speed, water carrying capacity, off-road performance, and agent discharge rates. They are airport firemen, often referred to as airport rescue and firefighting services.
The airport is categorized into Cat 9, and by Cat 9 there are certain requirements that is involved. We are supposed to have by standard 3 major vehicles, but I can bet you right now we have about 6 major vehicles. We have about 4 stations here. In my substation I have another vehicle there, and each of these vehicles carry different capacities of water as required. By standard, the requirement for water is 23,400 liters, but I can bet you each of the vehicle. One vehicle is carrying 11,000 liters, another one 12,500 liters. By the time you multiply, what we have on wheel right now is about 60,000 liters. It means we have surpassed the normal requirement for water of 23,400 liters. Then another media we use in fighting fire to prevent when there is accident is foam chemical. This foam chemical by requirement is 1,438 liters. But right now we have surpassed that too. We have over 30,000 liters of foam chemicals.
The principal objective of an airport fire and rescue service is to save lives in the event of an aircraft accident or incident. And they don't just hang around the airport. Their base is the fire bay, and this is what a typical bay looks like. 4 fire trucks in tow, and this is dependent on the level of fire cover, as well as an ambulance.
Right now, fire prevention is a factor, 3 factors. It borders about training, equipment, and the speed at which we deploy this equipment to use. Then here we operate from 2 stations. Apart from these 2 main stations, we have fire prevention unit in each of the terminal buildings, headed by fire prevention officers who are licensed to do what they do, to carry out risk assessment of all the facilities, the terminal buildings, and other infrastructures in the airport. On periodic basis, we have risk analysis that we carry out, and this thing we analyze it and make sure that we provide solutions, preventative measures on what to do when there is emergency. But basically, we are here for aircraft emergencies. The airport is categorized into Cat 9, and by Cat 9 there are certain requirements that is recovered. So the recommended level for manpower is 120, but right now we're 187.
Most airport fire appliances are equipped with a roof-mounted high-volume monitor or nozzle, which can shoot fire extinguishing media huge distances. This means that an approaching fire appliance can begin tackling flames before it has arrived close to the scene of the fire. There is also a watchtower equipped with staff in the case of any emergency.
This is the communication center of the department. It's usually known as the eye of the fire station. In this unit we receive messages. It could be operational message, emergency message, and departmental message, depending on the type of message received, and we pass it to the appropriate authority. When we receive an emergency message from Lagos Tower that an aircraft is coming with a distress, what we need to do is to activate the public address system. We press the fire alarm bell, we pass the message down to the crew.
As well as a clinic for the purpose of stabilizing the injured. Fire stations at busy airports provide a 24-hour service. Hours of operation at smaller airports are determined by commercial passenger aircraft flights schedules.
Statistics from the Airline Pilots Association International Trade Union shows that just 5.18% of commercial pilots are women globally. Indian Airlines employ the highest proportion of female pilots at 12.4%, And that's according to the latest statistics from the International Society of Women Airline Pilots in 2018. In Lebanon, breaking the gender stereotype is important for the industry, and one person leading this campaign is the country's first female pilot, Captain Rola Hotit. Rola Hotit was studying for her mathematics degree when she learned that Middle East Airlines was recruiting female pilots. Within her workspace, Captain Hotit is at work alongside the first officer who's male. She says starting out took a lot of conviction.
The first challenge was to convince my family. The second challenge was for the society to be convinced. It was very hard for the society to go into the cockpit and find the captain is a woman. Many times, they're like, oh, we're putting our hand on our heart. And even once a passenger got off the plane. I did not take the criticisms in a personal way. Nothing was personal for me. I was always saying they're not saying this because Rola Hotit is sitting here. No, any woman could have been here and the reaction would be the same because after all, that's our society.
Hard at work, she signs necessary papers for the discharge of her flight along with her first officer Jamil Abdel Malak, who says whether male or female, a pilot is a pilot.
All pilots in our company undergo the same training and the same exams. And if Captain Rola Hotit did not pass all those exams and she isn't able to fly, she wouldn't be here. So when I fly with Captain Rola Hotit, I fly with her as a captain, not as a woman.
While she has climbed the ladder as the first female captain in Lebanon, she is a strong advocate that more women should follow.
The good thing here, and what was the last challenge, is to persuade women to get into the aviation domain. Because if I became a pilot and that's it, if I tell you one woman became a captain and they took no other woman, you wouldn't say she's smarter than others because this is impossible. You would maybe say they tried with her and she failed. So the challenge for me was please take women so I can prove I was successful more than for just taking more women.
And perhaps her role modeling is bearing fruit as more women are taking the challenge. A simulator training is in progress, but one of these ladies says stereotyping still comes with the terrain.
My first flight was about a year ago, and it was really nice. No one made me feel the difference between men and women, but one passenger made me feel the difference because as she was boarding the plane, she saw me and didn't want to get on board anymore.
The feeling is great because it was the first time. I was a little nervous because there were passengers and it was an actual flight today. Indeed, the feeling is indescribable. The adrenaline was so high, I was excited. It's a different feeling. It's great.
It's a different feeling.
For these female Lebanese pilots, Rola broke the ceiling of gender stereotype and now paving the way for more women to join the male-dominated cockpits.
This is where we take a bow on the program. Let's have your feedback via our platforms. I'm Bukola Joe Oketumi. See you next time.